Hello, welcome back to a brand new video discussing my favorite content creator on the platform, Creepshow Art, and how this situation has only become worse and worse. Now, originally I wanted to leave my discussion of this topic with my previous videos. I'd considered them to have covered every single thing, and I believe they went in depth on every single point, to the point where EmilyArtful herself said that my video was incredibly well made, which meant a lot to me. Thank you, Emily, if you're still watching this one. That comment actually genuinely really made me feel like the reason I made content was validated, like I actually was helping people, so thank you for that comment. But sadly, this situation hasn't ended there, and I know I'm gonna get called a milker for making another video, but I hope that the next, however long this video takes, I don't know, I'm gonna keep saying everything until I get to the end of the points. I hope that this video emphasizes everything that needs to be said to close up the case with Shannon, until Shannon hopefully makes a response, somehow clearing her name of every claim, which, to be completely honest, I highly doubt. I doubt to the maximum that Shannon can prove herself innocent here, considering she's now got people from her college back in 2011 claiming that they witnessed all of the cyber stalking that Shannon did to Emily, the harassment, Emily being stalked across different social media accounts, and all of this stuff. The fact that this person claims that Shannon was actually caught in the act doing this really says a lot to me. I feel like if that's the truth, sadly there are no screenshots as of right now, if that's the truth, this is basically the end for Shannon. I don't think there's any other excuse she could make. She can't be IP spoofed in real life. And again, I'm going to clarify a few things after I get past the intro. As I watched a few videos on this topic, I finally watched other people's videos. I've been putting off watching other people's videos because I didn't just want to let my whole life be surrounded by it. But I sat through the main videos made by my content creator friends 𝙗𝙗𝙩𝙤, 𝙗𝙚𝙞𝙀, and Braxton, and I believe that a lot of them make some important points that I should correct before I go further in depth on the new information and the new victims that have come out against Shannon, including 𝙗𝙗𝙩𝙤, 𝙗𝙚𝙯, and more. But before we begin, I have an important disclaimer to make before I even get into my intro. This video is all allegations, and I need to say that for very clear legal reasons. If any lawyer is watching this video right now, in the event that I end up in legal trouble because of this video, I am discussing allegations. Everything I'm claiming here is my own opinion, and it's not stated on what I'm claiming to be fact. In no way is this video slander, libel, or in any way disingenuous to what I believe wholeheartedly with the information I've been given. Please do not sue me. But before we begin, hi, I'm HarleyTBS, and I'm aiming for 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Right now we've got 6 months left, so if you'd like to go check down below and click the subscribe button if you haven't pressed it already, that donation of your time and support, I don't know why I said the word donation, would be highly appreciated. Just helping me reach that goal would be incredibly appreciated. If you don't know, ever since I started YouTube, my only goals have been 30,000 and 100,000. You guys have already made that first goal come true, which is insane in itself, but the fact that next year we could have the only other goal I've ever set for myself in my whole life would be absolutely nuts. So if you could help me get to that goal, that would be highly appreciated. Also, I have my other social media like my Twitter, Instagram, and Discord all linked down below, so if you want to go check out those other platforms and support me there, that would be highly appreciated. My Twitter is at 3,300 followers, on its way to 4,000, so if you want to help me get there by the end of the year, that would be appreciated. My Discord is on 2,000 members now, or about to hit it, and my Instagram is almost at 1,000 followers, so if you want to go support those platforms, that'd be highly appreciated. And may I just mention, this intro, wow, I've been very fluid with my delivery of a lot of these lines, so can I get a little like just for that? Sorry, I've just capitalized upon reading a script in a decent way. Finally, if you'd like to donate to the channel to help support this content, because it takes a lot of work. Oh my god, do these videos take a lot of work. I'd appreciate if you could go down below and click the join button right next to the subscribe button. Any donations from that go directly to me and would genuinely be appreciated. You get a little emote by your name, and I'll be sure to see your comment because those emotes stand out by themselves. Also, you'll get some other perks that are specified in those tiers, but if you'd like to support me on a different platform like Patreon or Ko-fi for single-time donations, Patreon for monthly, you can check out those platforms, and obviously Patreon has its own perks as well. So if you want to go check out those platforms, that'd be highly appreciated too, and all of that money will go right back into investing into this content and improving the standard of every single video you see, so that these videos turn out very well for you. I've been working so hard to try and make these videos turn out better and better every time. If you haven't noticed, I've recently recently extended my length of my videos. So obviously I used to do 10-minute videos every single day. Now I'm doing almost 17 to 20-minute videos every single day, which is almost double the work. So I'd appreciate if you could literally just go check out some of my donation platforms to support me, as this is a lot of work and it would be a lot easier to hire an editor so that I can spend more time doing research and scripting and spending less time stuck editing until 4 AM. I know these intros are a drag. I'm so sorry that I have to make them so long. I just have to get every piece of information in there at the start, as I've been recommended by a lot of people that it's important that I list all of these things at the start. So thank you for the support. Thank you for sitting through it. If you skipped through it, that's fine. I totally understand. Comment avocado if you skipped through it. I'd love to know. Yes, that was a Nani reference. And okay, let's get into it. So, as a little catch-up, for those of you that have only been following my videos and no one else's, 𝙡𝙚𝙩 recently mentioned in their video that IP spoofing's only real purpose is for DDoSing, and it seems highly suspicious that 𝙗𝙚𝙞𝙀 would claim that all of these 300 posts across multiple years from different devices were somehow all being sent under her different IPs that were being spoofed, when IP spoofing can't, as far as I know, send posts like this. It would simply be implausible, and maybe 𝙗𝙚𝙞 used the wrong term. I'd like to give her the benefit of the doubt. She wouldn't give me the benefit of the doubt, but I'd like to give 𝙗𝙚𝙞 the benefit of the doubt nonetheless, that maybe she just used the wrong term. However, that does in itself bring up a lot of questions, as it seems odd that she would just claim that out of the blue with no evidence to support it. 𝙡𝙚𝙩 also mentions how there's a technique used by a lot of legal agencies like the police to bring up a liar and catch them on their lie, while simultaneously milking them for more information and catching them out very, very quickly. That technique is called the alternate question, which is where you ask a question or you subtly hint in a way something that you know to be less likely, or something that would allow the other person to latch onto it, to escape from any backlash, to somehow evade your criticism because they believe, because they're lying, that they can get away with it if they take your little moment of doubt and try and capitalize on it. 𝙡𝙚𝙩 mentions that 𝙗𝙚𝙞 latches on to Emily mentioning that Brandon may be involved by saying, oh yeah, Brandon, you know, he's been discussing it as well, Brandon may have been involved. I kind of feel like Brandon's been doing that same thing to me. You gotta understand, Brandon was kind of like that as well. And also, by the way, I know that you're threatening to make it so that we can't come in contact with you by filing a restraining order. You may notice that the PO box we've given you also may link back to Brandon. So in the event that any evidence was to come from that, it was probably Brandon, you know, that was just linked to us. I promise, I'm innocent. Again, that highlight has been taken advantage of here, unintentionally by Emily, and has somehow linked 𝙗𝙚𝙞 into what can be seen as a less likely, less believable truth, while also rambling on for way more than she needed to, which is also a thing seen by a lot of liars, where they constantly extend their story and add more information than they need to, because they want the other party to believe them so desperately, and they believe the other party will only believe them if they continue to give them more information. 𝙡𝙚𝙩 also highlights how an apparent little kid who was 10 at the start of Emily's stalking, who 𝙗𝙚𝙞 claims was apparently the kid that was stalking Emily, knew and planned so many of the problems happening to Emily, including the claims of viewbotting, which Anthony had claimed to Emily minutes before this new account that apparently this 10-year-old was running reached out, which simply seems very suspicious. It seems weird that this kid would somehow know all of this information, including this Twitter spat that wasn't mentioned publicly about the whole viewbotting allegation, which the only other person involved in that whole situation was Anthony, where Anthony had made that claim, and then a few seconds later to a few minutes later, an account had reached out, the anonymous account that this 10-year-old is running, that somehow had proof of all these allegations. It seems incredibly weird and doesn't really line up. Also, the fact that 𝙗𝙚𝙞 claims that she received nudes of Emily as Emily was a child from this account, which somehow possessed it despite them being a kid, or this was some other account that just 𝙗𝙚𝙞 has just made up out of the blue to somehow have all of this information, which seems incredibly weird. Again, I'm stating matter of the fact that's still an allegation. And 𝙗𝙚𝙞 also started posting on lolcow a few days after ceasing harassment towards Emily, after apparently this 15-year-old was put in a mental asylum. This simply doesn't add up. And it seems very likely that 𝙗𝙚𝙞 started her channel to harass Emily and to excuse her stalking, while also milking Emily's story times and just coming up with more ways to ruin Emily's life in so many different ways. And final note to take into consideration before I get into the new information, 𝙗𝙚𝙞 has lost over 100,000 subscribers because of this situation so far, as of recording this audio, which is insane. The only cancellation I've ever seen close to this size was with James Charles, which is nuts, considering that James Charles' situation was over predator allegations. So I don't know how Shannon has somehow made a situation this bad, but she has, so that's great. And yeah, we're all caught up, so let's get into the new information. Recently, a Twitter user known by 𝙗𝙩𝙩 had came out against Shannon with a whole thread making multiple different claims, claiming that they met Shannon in freshman year of college in 2011, sharing an English class, but not having too much contact with Shannon. However, after dealing with an abusive relationship, they reconnected with Shannon, which allowed them to somehow, after time, discover Shannon's concerning, as they say, behavior, which started with Shannon introducing 𝙗𝙗𝙩 to Anthony's music. Shannon claimed at this time that Anthony was her ex, however, they'd maintained a relationship in the bedroom. Shannon was apparently being treated poorly by Anthony, and that was called out by 𝙗𝙗𝙩. However, Shannon said that she believed the relationship was okay. Shannon apparently heavily shit-talked Emily, blowing out the act in DMs with Emily that she really didn't know who she was, referring to her in the way that an acquaintance would. And according to 𝙗𝙗𝙩, Shannon was apparently fixated to Emily, for lack of better words, pointing out all of Emily's apparent flaws and mocking Emily. 𝙗𝙗𝙩 further states that they stayed talking to Shannon in spite of the red flags because they needed help with their abuser, and they then discovered Shannon was cyber-stalking Emily. 𝙗𝙗𝙩 states that Shannon shared plans to harass Emily, stalked her personal information, and more, corroborating the idea that Shannon was highly involved in Anthony's behavior and punching another hole in Shannon's pretty picture. They also share more information about how Shannon allegedly stalked their social media and sent them cryptic messages, with apparently a lot more too, which is outlandish in itself, and again brings back the question, how does Shannon believe that anyone trusts her word? Okay, I'm gonna bring up how Shannon's story is actually presented if it was worded in an honest way. Shannon expects you to believe that by coincidence, Shannon somehow had the same ex or same partner as Emily. Shannon somehow was also the same YouTuber that happened to have the same titles and thumbnails as Emily, and Shannon somehow was provided these nude images of Emily and all the secret imagery of Emily despite no other content creator being reached out, and Shannon was the same person that apparently, just by coincidence, was running this 𝙒𝙗𝙩 account, according to the allegations, that was spreading all of this stuff about Emily recently, right after she stopped talking about Emily, and also, Shannon was coincidentally the IP linked back to a bunch of this behavior, and Shannon's story times coincidentally linked up with the allegations, and Shannon's evidence coincidentally lines up with how Shannon's acted in multiple different situations, and every other thing Shannon's claimed is all just a big coincidence, guys. It's just a coincidence that Shannon may have showed all of these traits and just had been accused of being involved in all these situations. It's all just a coincidence, guys. That's how Shannon's story actually sounds to anyone with half a brain, and to me, I'd say that's case closed. However, there's more testimonies to go through, so let's go through them. Holly Brown recently came out with a video about Shannon stalking and harassing her, slandering her in multiple different ways across the past few years, even in spite of Holly losing her channel, and Shannon having no real reason to continue blasting her, which again corroborates the idea that Shannon has apparently been stalking a bunch of people on social media and harassing them in a way to either make herself feel better or because she's literally nuts. It seems really suspicious that coincidentally, so many people have had this similar experience with Shannon of being stalked and harassed online by people that are seemingly Shannon, but Shannon claims that it's just someone else, or in Holly's case, apparently just is Shannon across her actual platforms, and also Shannon has apparently been lying on the 𝙒𝙗𝙩 post, which, considering Shannon apparently made videos about this, and apparently Shannon was talking about the Hopeless Peaches stuff on the 𝙒𝙗𝙩 before it even became public drama, and all of this private information, like the fact that 𝙂𝙗𝙩 and Shannon were doing a collab, like 𝙂𝙗𝙩 states, before 𝙂𝙗𝙩 ever shared that information publicly anywhere, which again only means that Shannon could have possibly shared that. It seems very suspicious that all of this behavior seems to line up in so many different ways with Shannon, and to me, it seems incredibly suspicious that Shannon just seems to go by the accusation that, oh no guys, listen, it was a 10-year-old at the time that was doing it, and it wasn't me, and it was other people, and my story times just happened to line up. It's so insane that Shannon believes that anyone would trust this at all. And it's even more likely that Shannon is lying, given the fact that every claim between people has lined up, and again, apparently people that went to Shannon's old college was also aware of Shannon's behavior and witnessed her doing this stuff to Emily. It seems so weird that people would have witnessed it in the event that Shannon claims that she never knew anything about it, and that she wasn't involved in all of this shit. It doesn't add up. 𝙤𝙤𝙩𝙤 also came out with a video recently discussing how she considers this situation to be case closed, and how the last time in her life 𝙒𝙗𝙩 made a claim like this, they were correct. Also, 𝙤𝙩 discusses how Shannon still feigns ignorance, and how she's just disappointed in Shannon for this whole situation. Now, she didn't want to cover it, but she kinda has to, and all of this shit. And to be completely honest, I feel incredibly sorry for 𝙤𝙩, considering this brings up back old trauma that she's experienced and reopens resealed wounds, while simultaneously hurting 𝙤𝙩 in many different ways. I don't know why I was going to use the full username there again, but hurting 𝙤𝙩 in many different ways, as she thought that her and Shannon were friends. Shannon sent her flowers and all of this different stuff. It's really sad to see so many people like 𝙤𝙣, 𝙤𝙩, and so many more being betrayed by Shannon in so many different ways. I genuinely feel bad. Speaking to 𝙤𝙣, it just made me feel incredibly pained to know that she'd bonded with Shannon over her personal experiences with being homeless, and to know that Shannon had fabricated a lot of that story or dramatized it despite it not being as severe as it was. The fact that Shannon was actively buying 𝙤𝙣's plushes, apparently, all of this stuff, it just hurts so much to see Shannon betraying so many people, and people I'm friends with as well. It's like, this situation would be so much different if I didn't know Shannon. I'd be covering this from like an outside perspective, but I know and have actively involved myself with a lot of people that know and have been slandered by Shannon. Heck, I was slandered by Shannon on her 𝙒𝙗𝙩 post. It's weird how close this is to people like me and other creators, and that's why it's so hard for us to discuss it. And it sucks that I'm seeing so many people leaving comments now that are shitting on YouTubers for not calling out Shannon and being like, you're friends with Shannon, so you're being silent. It's like, no, it's incredibly hard to come out about this stuff and talk about it, because Shannon is a big creator that could literally destroy us. They could neuter us in a second. It was seen with Peaches. When they didn't like Peaches, they neutered Peaches in a second. They could neuter anybody they wanted, realistically. Maybe they can't anymore now. They've lost all trust at all. But the fear is still there, to be completely honest. And also, a lot of people have real connection with Shannon, and they want to believe that Shannon is a good person. They want to hear Shannon's side, and Shannon is refusing to give them it. Also, it's incredibly weird that so many people for some reason are claiming that every female creator out there is somehow Shannon. Like, recently, Omnia was accused of being Shannon because they have a similar voice, which is insane considering Omnia is literally a POC and Shannon is not. It's weird, and Shannon's artist, the artist behind her banner, is also apparently being harassed over this, or at least they state that they don't want to be harassed over this because they didn't know about any of this, and it just feels so bad to see this whole situation. I reached out to that artist in private, and I've told them I'm going to mention this because they don't deserve any harassment. To be completely fair, they aren't involved in anything Shannon's done. They were commissioned before Shannon was exposed, all of that shit, so I don't want to see anyone going after their artists. But also, I don't want to see anyone going after other content creators and claiming they are Shannon. It's just such a weird way to harass people for no reason. Yes, Shannon's run sock puppet accounts, but no, Shannon isn't Omnia, 𝙤𝙣, me, or any other content creator. It's nuts that people would somehow come to that assumption in any way without doing any research. All it takes is to click on Omnia's account to see Omnia is literally a person of color. How do you mess up that badly that you would falsely accuse someone this severely in such an obvious point-blank conclusion? It is not the same person. How do you come to this conclusion? However, in this whole situation, Shannon's only response so far, other than her community post, which was dreadful, is to just continue to delete videos, many videos discussing her stalking apparently situation, which is fucking nuts. The fact that she's just deleting her story times, the ones that have evidence that would go against her, it's nuts. It's nuts that she's not responded publicly to any of the furthering claims. She's not explaining anything to her friends in private, and instead she is just deleting videos to try and clear her ass. She must realize at this point that this situation is fucked, but at this point, I don't even know if Shannon is smart enough to comprehend that she can't just hide from this. No one is going to forget this. She's lost a fifth of her audience in a few weeks. This situation isn't going to disappear. It's either you respond or it's over. This silence is incredibly suspicious, and to be honest, silence in this situation is basically an admission of guilt, especially when you're deleting anything that would possibly corroborate an alternate story that would go against the claims you're making. I hope Shannon responds, and I hope she apologizes. I hope she admits to everything she's done, apologizes to all the friends she's betrayed, apologizes to Emily for this behavior, and promises to never harass anyone like this again, and get herself the help she actually needs if these allegations are true, because this is fucked if this is true, that she would ever do this, and no one is ever going to trust her again until she shows that she's actually changed. I believe that Shannon could get herself help and learn from this and never do this stuff again. Everyone has problematic pasts to an extent, including me, and I believe that if Shannon was to learn her mistakes and improve from them, 𝙨𝙚 could come back and in the future return to her platform and continue making content that would hopefully still see her getting supported. I believe that 𝙨𝙚 could return in the event that 𝙨𝙚 actually learns. Obviously 𝙨𝙚's made severe mistakes here, very severe mistakes, and I'm not going to excuse that. But I do, for some reason, I don't know why, but I always hold the policy that if people actually show themselves to have learned, they deserve forgiveness. So if 𝙨𝙚 does learn from her situation and doesn't do this shit again, I would be happy to forgive her if she was willing to apologize. Sadly, I doubt she will. I think she's going to die in this hill, and that's where this case is going to be left. But yeah, that's it. This is the longest video I've recorded in quite a while since my Hopeless Peaches documentary, and I recorded that in segments. This video has been all recorded in the past hour and a half, so my throat is incredibly sore, so I hope you don't mind me if I literally sound like I'm dying here. So, I'd like to give you guys a thanks, and actually I'm going to go clear my throat. I'll be right back. Okay, thank you for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it or watched the whole way through, please do leave a like, subscribe, and comment sussy so that I know you've seen this entire video and so that I can heart your comment and reply to it saying thank you for supporting this video. This video took a lot of work if you can't tell. I've basically crammed about an hour's of information at a minimum into about 20 minutes, so I hope that this video has been incredibly informative for you. This is going to be a nightmare to edit, oh my god, but at least I'm in my productive stage now. I was kind of very tired throughout the whole recording, so now I'm ending it. I'm out of that slump now, and I'm coming back to productivity, so hopefully I can get this finished in a very timely manner and go to bed before 5 AM today. If you did enjoy this video, you can subscribe to help me get to 50k very soon. That would be highly appreciated. Hopefully, if you can share this video enough, we can get it to be my most viewed video because I believe it's the most important information. And hopefully my other videos will also get seen because of that, because they also go in depth on this whole situation and explain everything else other than this. This has been a mess, and I've tried to compile every video made about this situation, all these 20-minute videos, 2-hour videos, everything. I've tried to compile them down into their own 17-minute segments, which has been incredibly difficult. So, if I've done a good job, I would appreciate you just letting me know, because damn, these videos are a lot of work. Turn on notifications so you get notified the next time I upload so that you don't see me fall off of the face of the earth, because YouTube never notifies anyone, which is great. Thank you, YouTube. And even if you think you're subscribed, just check down below. It'd be highly appreciated. These videos take a lot of work. I know I hate to self-promo, but this video's been a lot of work, so if you could support it, that would be highly appreciated, and help it reach 100k views to be my first video to ever see 100,000 views, because I believe it's one of my best ones, and I believe that this video, just like my Hopeless Peaches documentary, will be highly underviewed with the amount of information it compiles down in a very condensed format. Obviously, I don't believe my videos stand out against anyone else's too much, but I do believe that my videos do a very good job at compiling information down into a condensed and bite-sized, collection, so you don't have to watch the full information if you simply don't have the time to. So literally subscribe, you'll see more videos just like this one. Check out my Twitter, Instagram, Discord, and my other social media link down below. If you join my Discord, feel free to boost it so that we can keep up our level 3 and keep our dedicated link, discord.gg/Harley. And finally, final thing, if you want to support these videos by donating like people like 𝙗𝙚𝙩𝙗, Ghost of Grievous, Spy62, SpyV, you can check out my Patreon, Ko-fi, and join button all down below and support me financially. Any donators will be shouted out at the end of the video if I remember every name, or if I get them all noted down. Obviously, sometimes I'll miss some, because these videos take a lot of work and I make them daily, so I don't always have time to update the list. But if you could support me, that would be incredibly appreciated. Thank you for watching the whole way through. Holy shit, this is one of the longest videos I've had to make in quite a while. And considering the Peaches documentary is double this length and it took 2 months to finish, and this video is going to be made in a day, thank you if you're supporting it. I appreciate it. I'm going to go die now. Peace.
Says you wanna rock with it like me. I'm a stylish guy. Spend a little guap with it like me. We can catch a fly. Says you wanna rock with it like me.